Hello, everyone. Erin here. Welcome. I'm here this week with the creative design team. We are collaborating and sharing layouts from our creative design team membership. So there's some layouts in here that may have made it into other layout shares, but there are going to be layouts that you have not seen unless you're in the membership group. And I have some exciting news. So let me set these aside and we'll go through them one by one and talk about the techniques and the details. For this particular Christmas layout, the technique was pockets, which was so cool. It created all sorts of interactive type elements. And all of the projects were amazing this month. But if you saw Chelsea's video, if you have a ton of photos to add to your layout, her pocket solution was super cool, very amazing, and such a great idea. So for my particular layout, it was in the summer, so it was close to Christmas in July. So I was inspired to share some Christmas inspiration then. But you can see I've used an envelope to create a pocket type look for this main focal photo here. But in the class, I shared a step-by-step Cricut tutorial on how to create this look. And this was really fun because Chelsea's layout, you can add a lot of photos. We made this trifold insert here. I still need to put my extra photos in here. I forgot all about it until I pulled it out for this layout share. But I showed them there was scoring and welding and how to adjust the size and everything to get these customizable tags. And then if you didn't have a Cricut, I also showed how you can recreate this by hand. But you can see we have these fun pockets here. And I shared lots of different ways, not only you could add photos, but different ideas on how you can incorporate these trifold tags and these customizable pockets. So this was a really fun class. And this whole month, like I said, very fun, interactive elements, and I really enjoyed it. Of course, we've got lots of bling and sparkle on here because what's Christmas without a little sparkle? And love the envelope idea too. Really fun way to create like a focal photo for your main page. I'm going in no particular order. I have pulled layouts from the past year that I've created for the Creative Design Team membership. This one is very recent, and our October technique topic was ink. What's really fun about the Creative Design Team membership is there are 7 different designers and we all have a different style. So it's so fun to see everybody's different approach on a given topic. And we do a deep dive. So with ink being our topic, I created this background from a technique that Chelsea taught earlier. And I was really proud of this layout because I honestly felt like I made something from nothing. I had to pull together different elements from making my own paper to my own embellishments, adding some detail, pulling in paper from different paper collections to pull this layout together to document these hysterical. Look at my husband's face there. He's having so much fun on this Tron ride. So this you can see is a really cool background technique. And again, Chelsea shared this originally and I kind of made it my own. We also did some stamping on this one, some customized titles there. And then we also give a coordinating handout for each class. So not only do you have the video tutorial going into a deep dive on the technique, but you also get a printable handout that will have the sketch guide with all the measurements and then cards as well. Now, I don't have a lot of the cards because I mail those out, but since this class was very recent, I still have these cards. So you can see I used the same Inky background technique to create this ocean themed card. And I just absolutely love how that turned out for the ocean background. And then here, this one, we talked about how you can get different looks with different applications to achieve this background. So this one is a little bit more subtle, and I created this card here using another background created in that class. This really fun circular element here is from a brand new stamp set too called Swirled Designs. You can see that one there. This one was just released. These are the coordinating dies to go along with the stamps. You can see how we've used this one to create this background stamping interest here and showing just multiple ways you can use ink on a layout to make it your own. Has anyone experienced this Tron ride at Disney World? It is just so fun. Of course, I grew up with this movie, so I thought it was just great. Really enjoyed it. And there's Jama too. Many of you know Jama and her family there. We were actually in Disney World together on an incentive trip, so it was just a great time. Now, as a boy mom, I was very excited about this particular technique topic because it was all about creating masculine pages. We hear all the time that people struggle creating masculine pages because there are a lot of florals and different things like that. Not that you can't use flowers on masculine pages, but my boys are rough and rugged, and I really like, layouts that capture who they are and their personality. So this was a layout I created for that masculine technique month. And this is my son Clayton. And I spent the day with him. He is actually a cowboy. That's what he does for a living. And that job kind of, encompasses a lot of things. But I was trying out a new horse. These were taken last year. So I went along with him for the day. What better way to try out a horse than to, you know, just do a whole day's worth of ranch work. Well, I was more tagging along while my son did the ranch work, but you can see just really cool textures. And we talked about color and just how to bring in masculine elements. And this was my take for this particular month. And I did a little stash busting, mixing some paper collections and doing some embossing and just different ways to kind of bring in that masculine touch. And of course, I love blue and brown. So this one really made me happy with the color scheme there. Did some die cuts. And yeah, it was a fun day, memory captured. And I did end up buying that horse. Her name, excuse me, her name is Melby. She's a red roan, and she is just as sweet as can be. Now, if you know me and you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I love incorporating stamping on my layouts. So this particular technique focus was right up my alley. It was all about stamping, and it was so fun to see everyone interpret that differently. I chose to use it to create a background collage stamping, and I shared lots of tips on how to choose a color palette and different sizes and textures of stamps so that it looks intentional and purposeful and not just kind of chaotic on the background. So let me hold this up close for you so you can see all of those stamps working together there. And even the arrows are stamped to kind of frame in that photo. I think it's just really pretty, and I love how that turned out. And of course, we carried it over to the other side. We do have some stamping incorporated into the embellishments as well. But yeah, you can see the different layers there. And we talked about different stamping techniques again to make those all kind of work in harmony together. So I don't have any cards from these because these were older. And, we always will share a scrapbook layout and then show how to use that same technique in multiple ways so that you can see it in action on different size projects, from layouts down to cards. And of course, all of the projects are included in the accompanying handouts. So these were photos taken from our Alaska trip. And it was just a hike around the Glacier Bay Lodge there. So I wanted to choose elements that really kind of tell the story of what it was like to be there. And of course, hiking and just you can see the muddy marsh and all the different mushrooms there. So really like how this one turned out. Now, this project also features a lot of stamping. However, the focus for this month was the masking technique. So I showed how to use masking to create this border interest down here. This was also Glacier Bay. So this is more focused on the ocean side of Glacier Bay, and the other one was hiking around through the forest. But you can see here how we have this just really beautiful layered stamping all achieved with a masking technique. So I showed how to do that. And there's some really cool uh, interpretations for masking this month. So I'm not sure what layouts the other ladies are showing. So you might see some of their masking techniques. Maybe not. They might pull different class topics. But yeah, it was really fun and a great way to get more from your stamps. We think to use our stamps for embellishments. We've got stamping on the title here, but masking can open up a whole nother opportunity to create scenes and different layered looks with your stamping. So really love the wood grain paper here. This Country Woods is one of my favorites. I've used it so much. But yeah, this is a really fun layout with all of that stamping. We added a little bit of bling over the top some ink blending to kind of blend it all in and finish it off. And yeah, really happy with this one. You might be wondering why we are sharing all of our creative design team layouts, and that is because I'm really excited to say our creative design team membership is open and accepting new members for a limited time. So if you've been on the wait list, now's your chance to get in and join the community. So as I've mentioned, each Wednesday, every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, we have a new class featuring, and it's different from YouTube because we go into a deep dive on techniques and we really show you how to get the most out of your projects. And then each class has that printable handout with the measurements. So it's like getting a sketch with, and a how-to tutorial with every single project. And we create multiple projects. So I'm just showing you the layouts, but you'll have layouts, you'll have cards, sometimes home decor projects, all sorts of fun things. And it's just really inspiring to see again how different designers interpret a topic because it really helps you think outside of the box and get your creativity going. So along with our membership classes each week, we also every Tuesday have a tip video, which is awesome. Anything goes in the tip videos, anything from craft room organization to different techniques to photo editing. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There's, photo composition, really so many different helpful tips. And those, you never know what you're going to get. It's always a surprise with the tip videos. And then each month we have a monthly challenge topic too, with opportunities to win a prize. So this layout, you may have seen this side recently because I was talking about these alpha dies and I showcased just this left half side of this layout. But this particular month, we had one sketch and all the different ways you can interpret it. So it was really neat to see how you can get the most because a sketch is a great tool and it does a lot to help you get your creativity going and maybe help take the guesswork out of scrapbooking, helps you get off on the right foot sometimes just to get things going. And we showed how to take one sketch and get tons of different looks out of it by twisting it and rotating it and flipping it and reversing it. So this was my take on the sketch. I did a little stash busting, as you can see, but then I mixed it in with new products here. The alpha dies are current, and then so are these. This is the alphabet a la mode die here. So just the papers from my stash. And again, more trip pictures of Alaska. I'm really working hard to get my Alaska album done. So it's really neat just to see again how many different ways you can interpret one sketch. So I moved the photos around a little bit and I'm just kind of changed things up to make it my own. But you can see lots of different paper layers here. So the handout would have all the measurements for how I created this sketch and then the different sketches. So really it was like getting one sketch and then all the other people's sketches from that same original design. So just some pocket cards here. I cut this pocket card into a tag. So lots of little techniques sprinkled into this one. You can see there's embossing and a drop shadow on the alphabet there. And of course, got some close-up shots with some faraway shots and really love how this one turned out too. I say that a lot, but that's good, right? We want to be happy with how our layouts turn out. Now this one, I really had a great time putting this one together. I've actually showed this here before on my channel, and I know there were a lot of comments asking how I did this. So this is still available. If you join the Creative Design Team membership, you have access to our whole library of videos, tip videos, classes, everything is there for you to enjoy. So you can go back and find this class. Ironically, in the Stampin' Up! Album Retreat, they did a layout a little bit similar to this, but the technique focus was scraps. As paper crafters, we all end up with a ton of scraps, and it was fun to showcase different ways to use those scraps. You can see these are all skinny little paper strips here. We've added tons of texture, mixed in some cardstock, and I really, went into color balance and why I chose the patterns I did and just the strategic placement of the different colors and patterns. This is a trip to the Amalfi Coast, and I really like this Mediterranean blooms paper for the Amalfi pictures. The colors are perfect. The whole tile and the citrus is perfect. And we did a little ink blending here, some background stamping, and the title is a Cricut print and cut title there. And then here's some stamping, and then again more ink blending. And I used my Avery clear sticker paper for the journaling, but definitely a great layout design for scraps. And I just love the flow and how it kind of carries your eye all the way through the design there. We'll head over from Italy to Mexico, and this class was all about color theory. So we played around with the color wheel, and I chose to work with complementary colors. So we talked about color theory and different ways you can implement that into your projects. So here again, complementary colors, and you can see on the color wheel here how we have these kind of orangey tones, and complementary is going to be on the opposite side with the blues. We've mixed paper collections, so tips on how to do that as well. There's some background stamping, embellishment clusters. This was a fun sketch too. I really enjoyed this one. And then I know Katie this month, she just really threw us a wild card, and it was really, really cool how she used an unexpected item and got her color theory from that. So if you're in the membership, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was just such a cool way to take inspiration from an unexpected source. So this was a excursion we did on an incentive trip in Mexico where we went out to swim with the sea turtles. So I loved how this one turned out with this stamp set. This is unfortunately no longer available from Stampin' Up, but it was just so perfect, and I love it when things work out well like that. But it's always nice to use a tool like our color wheel here to inspire different projects and get your creativity going. It's a fun way to challenge yourself too with different colors, and it helps be able it helps you to be able to maybe pull uh, you know often when we're working with a paper pack, they put the colors together for you, but sometimes you want to pull in papers from different paper packs. So I've got 3 different paper packs here, and they were selected based on color theory, and I think it worked out so well. I thought I'd bring this one in next. We're already in Mexico, so let's just keep going with our Mexico layouts. This was from the same incentive trip. There's Jama and her husband again, and then my husband Mike and I. And this was a founder's dinner, and they treated us to this really nice dinner if you were at a certain level and above. But the technique topic for this particular class was stash busting. We called it Love Your Stash. So I went in, dug deep, and found a paper collection that I still have quite a bit of. So I wanted to put it to work. And even though we were talking about stash busting, I shared ideas on how to use oversized embellishments. So that was kind of a subtopic for me in my class, because sometimes we get those big giant embellishments and they can be difficult to include onto a scrapbook layout. So I created this layout and a sketch to go along with it. And then I made several cards. I only have 2 of them left. But since we were stash busting, I wanted to feature designs that would help you utilize scraps, right? Because often if you're dipping into your stash, you've got itty bitty pieces tucked into that collection. So these were a couple card designs that really help you make the most of those small pieces. And again, there were more cards, but I've already sent those out. They probably went to my friends over on the East Coast in Florida. But got some shimmer brush on the flowers too. You can kind of see that sparkle there. Love the shimmer brush. But yes, that was the technique focus for Loving Your Stash. Utilizing small paper scraps on your card fronts, and then large oversized jumbo embellishments on your layouts. So it was fun to revisit this paper collection too. It's so bright and colorful and absolutely perfect. You'll just notice Jama's dress there, and then the floral pattern, and then this green color in here is the color of my dress. Love it, love it. When that happens and it's like meant to be, us scrapbookers get really happy, don't we? For this particular class, it was all about leveling up your layering game, and I chose to focus on pocket cards. So I actually made an 8 by 11 layout here. I do have one 8 by 11 album. There's not a whole lot of layouts in there. It's coming together slowly, but everything on here, aside from the base paper, is a pocket card. So we talked about layering techniques using pocket cards. And you can see these are all pocket cards. The embellishments were cut from pocket cards. Even the title was cut from a pocket card. So it was really lots of different ways. And then again, layering techniques. And I talked about design composition and whatnot. So this particular class, I had a lot of cards, again, using pocket cards in different ways you can layer them. But again, I've sent them all out in the mail for some happy mail. But bright, love the glitter paper there, just bright, cheerful, and colorful. And this was my birthday, so I put Hello 45, and I had gone to get some flowers to spruce up my yard. And just that's where the inspiration came for this floral paper here. This is Unbounded Beauty, I think this one was called, and it's just pretty. Anything with this kind of a turquoisey green color, I love it. For this month's technique topic, it was all about circles. So I chose to use circles of different sizes to create background interest. And other people, did completely different things with circles. That's what makes it so fun because you think, circles. And then you see all the different ways you can utilize circles on your layouts. So just as you can see, a cluster of circles using In Full Bloom paper from my stash. This was from a while ago. And then, of course, the sketch went along with this. And I do remember I scaled this down and turned it into a slimline card. So picture a slimline card, right? It'd go this way. It's kind of hard to get it all on the camera. And then I scaled it down and sized it to fit. So I showed how to take that sketch design and use circles and scale it down into a slimline card. And then there were some A2 card sizes as well. But I like how I've got the journaling even on a circle. And we just talked about circles and how they can be used in different ways in paper crafting. And circles are great because you'll hear me often say they soften lines, right? We have a lot of squares and rectangles and hard lines, and circles can add like a nice organic rounded shape and just soften things. And I really enjoy incorporating them into my layouts. So this one was, I do have more photos. They went in the flip flaps. So in the class, you saw that as well. But this was our creative design trip to Vancouver. And it's just was a beautiful day there. We were in Stanley Park, and it was so fun to spend the day with these lovely ladies there. Got some background stamping there to kind of fill in those gaps. But we talked more about that trap space and whatnot in the class. So yeah, beautiful paper collection, wasn't it? Here is a lovely Thanksgiving layout, and I call this one Bountiful Blessings. And the technique focus for this particular month was all about backgrounds. So I chose to use stamping to create my background. I know the other ladies did different approaches for their backgrounds. So to create this, I did random stamping, but you can see, doesn't that look like a pattern paper you would buy? So there's just lots of layering going on here. So we talked about, what stamps you want to start with and how to make it look like a piece of paper that you bought at a store, and bring it all together with the little details. So you can see so much detail in this, from these faux wood grain technique to the stamping. There's some ink blending and splatter, and it just all really works so beautifully together to create this custom background. And I was able to, pick my colors and the different elements to create that. So this was a really great class and a really great topic. And I really like how this one turned out. So yes, as I mentioned, it was all about backgrounds and the different ways you can create your own custom backgrounds. So I've used a lot of leaves. We brought in a lot of like sparkle gold glitter paper here to kind of just carry that beautiful gold sparkly bits around the layout. Got some gold little gems there. This was Thanksgiving of 2021. But I just created this one here last year. So I'm a little behind in my Thanksgiving scrapbooking. But yeah, lots of fun little details like our twine around our journaling here and some stamping to create our own little wordy bits. But definitely a fun challenge. And it was so neat to see what our members do as well. So we teach the class, and then our members will create something based off of the class and then share it in the group. So you get tons of inspiring ideas. And it's so neat to see a technique come to life and then how others interpret it and share it, which just gives you an endless amount of ideas and creativity. I wish I had more of the cards to show with you. It's just so fun to see how to interpret the projects down to a different size onto a card and just so many different ways to use those techniques. And be sure to tune in each day this week for what the other creative design team ladies have to share. Tons of inspiring ideas. And again, down in the description box below is more information about joining our community. We would love to have you. So if you like the idea of a monthly challenge, weekly tip videos, and a deep dive into a whole month focus on one creative technique topic, then come on, we'd love to have you. Thank you for spending time with me today here on my channel. And you can find the Creative Design Team videos on the playlist right here on the right. Check back in each day as new videos will be uploaded daily with tons of inspiring ideas.